Some filmmakers got a hold of Sora and the results are absolutely astounding. There's a major update to a free AI video generator, and Firefly beat Midjourney with a brand new feature. This is your AI film news of the week. Now, up to this point, we've mainly seen tech demos from OpenAI with just a single shot, but not really a story. Well, that all changed this week when some filmmakers were given access to Sora. So you'll find a link below this video. There are some really fun film examples. My personal favorite one is this film called Airhead, which was created by Shy Kids. It's a really interesting concept, and it really showcases a lot of the dynamic movements using Sora. Now, another incredible example is the music video concept created by Paul Trillo. Paul was actually kind enough to send us the raw file, so the video that you're watching right now was directly from him. Now, there are plenty of other demos in here that you absolutely must check out. They're very, very impressive. So the question now is, what did these filmmakers actually think of the experience of using Sora? Well, Paul Trillo was kind enough to share some of his insights in LinkedIn. And one really interesting note that he pointed out about his specific project is that most of the project was one prompt with a stitched video at the very end, which is really incredible because traditionally you would have thought that that would have taken a lot of different shots that were basically spliced together. And he did say that it does take lots of tweaking and re-rolling, which is a completely normal part of working with artificial intelligence. However, he did go on to say that control and nuance is always best achieved with cameras, actors, and traditional VFX. So it seems like our initial impressions of Sora have been confirmed by filmmakers. We can't wait to test this tool and begin playing around with it ourselves. And while we're talking about OpenAI, I should note that they have actually been meeting with studios out in Hollywood to showcase their tool. We are actually interviewed by the LA Times about not only Sora, but the larger evolution of AI in Hollywood. That interview should be live around the time of this web show. Now, controlling your characters is essential if you want them to be expressive and convey the story that you're trying to project into the world. Well, that's not always easy to do with artificial intelligence. But there's one tool that just came out that is trying to solve that problem. It's called Viggle, which is one of my favorite product names up to this point. And basically, they are branding themselves as a tool that allows you to drag and drop and swap characters from videos. Now, we saw some pretty interesting examples of this tool in action from Able Art, and we saw another great example from Max Einhorn. I actually want to show you the power of this tool in action, so let's get started. To use the tool, all you have to do is go to the link below this video, and you will be redirected to their Discord channel. So all you have to do is go to one of the animate channels here, and you'll do / and we will do mix. Now comes the fun part. So what I have right now is this video of this woman taking a walk next to this big building, and she's holding a camera. So what you need to do is drag and drop your video footage into the video section here. Then you need to get an image of the character that you want to replace inside of the video. For our example, I have this image of this woman. Now, a full body shot is typically better. You want to make sure that none of the extremities are cut off and you can see basically most of the character. So we'll basically take that image and drag and drop it into the image section. So now we also need to select a background. We are going to do green for green screen so that we can easily key it out. And I always like turning on fine tuning. And when you're ready, go ahead and click enter. So after just about a minute, we have this video footage here, which basically is our character and it's motion tracked. And it's not perfect, especially because the woman in the original video was holding a camera, so her hand is kind of being a little jittery and the fidelity isn't super high resolution, but it really is incredible considering all we did is really upload an image and it swapped the character. But now we need to composite this scene together. The problem is if we simply drag and drop our green screen footage over the original footage, you can see that there's actually the original character in the background, which is not great. So we actually need to rotoscope the underlying character out of this video. Now, of course, there is an AI tool that can help us with this. So I'm going to use Runway's in-painting tool. It blows my mind every single time I use the tool. All you have to do is log in to Runway, go to Edit Videos, and select in-painting. Now, all you have to do is simply drag and drop your original footage into the timeline here, and we'll adjust our brush size. And literally, all you have to do is brush out the character. Just do this really quickly. It's amazing how quick this tool works. Just like that. Okay, the character is now selected. Deselect, and again, in real time, the character is now taken out. We can preview this, and you can see that it did a pretty dang good job. So now all you have to do is click export. You can select the resolution and the file format. If you're editing, you typically want to use a ProRes format because it is an editing codec as opposed to MP4, which is more of a delivery codec for distributing online. And you can select 4K or even an image sequence, which is typically standard for visual effects pipelines. So when you're ready, all you have to do is click export. So the export should only take a few minutes, and now we have this video footage that has the character removed. Of course, you could go in and fine tune this if you needed to, but we'll just do a very quick example. So you could really use any editing software that you want. I'll use Adobe After Effects. You could use Premiere. You could use DaVinci Resolve. You could use Fusion. It's entirely up to you. You could probably even use CapCut if you wanted to. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in our video plate that has the character removed, and then I'll bring in our green screen footage. So we'll just drag this and drop it into our project panel here. And I will drop this original blank footage here. So character is removed, and then we will drag and drop the green screen footage over the background. So now you need to go to your effects and presets browser or whatever tool you're using. You can just use the King tool there. And for After Effects, we'll use Keylight 1.2, and we will grab the green color here. So you can see that we have selected this character here, and we could go in and refine. You can see the edges are a little fuzzy here, so we'll go to Screen Matte, and we can turn up the clip black just a little bit, and we can shrink it just a little bit, ever so slightly. And that looks pretty good. So obviously, the compositing of this character is not ideal. She seems a lot brighter than the environment. It's not bad, but it's not ideal either. So I'm going to show you just a really quick tip. This is not industry standard. It's just a really quick way that you can composite your characters from green screen into your background footage. I'm going to go to Tritone and drag the Tritone effect. You could use a tint effect if you don't have Tritone in your video editing application that you're using. And I'm just going to select colors that are indicative of the highlights, midtones, and shadows. So we'll grab the bright part of our background for the highlights. We'll grab the dark part for our shadows. And then we'll select a middle of the road color for the color grading. I'll select kind of one of this orange kind of gray panel here that should be about a 50% gray. And now we will change the blend with original, and we'll just dial this in as it makes sense, maybe down to, we'll say about 82% here, just dialing it in as it makes sense. Again, you could finesse this for a long time if you wanted to. And let's go ahead and check out our result here. So there you go. We have this character walking around this environment. Now, is this perfect? Absolutely not. But is it really easy, and is there storytelling potential here? Yeah, for sure. And finally, if we wanted to get rid of the Viggle text in the bottom right corner, that's no problem. We can just select the pen tool and cut it out, just like that. And we'll hit M for mask, go to subtract, and there you go. So now we have our character, and there's no watermark, and she is in this environment. Now, I wanted to test out Viggle in a few other use cases, so let's take a look at those really quick. So I have this second example here. So we have basically this video footage of this guy in the woods. This is just stock footage that I got off of Artlist, and he's just like looking around, and he's also like walking around without shoes on, which is not safe. I think that's exactly how you get tetanus. And basically I want to add in this alien character. I want to swap this alien character for the other character. Well, I used Viggle, and this was the result. So you can see that it's not great. He kind of dances a lot. Now, the input image only had the front of the characters, so I guess it is kind of impressive that it did that. But whenever we cut to the front view, you can see that it really is distorting the face, and it didn't do a great job with adding in the depth. Now, it's still amazing, but I would not say that this is silver screen quality just yet. Again, there are other competitors out there like Wonder Studio that are trying to be a version of this tool where you simply drag and drop a character and you can swap them inside of a video. And Wonder Studio is also really interesting because it gives you the tracking data that you can take into a 3D application. I want to show you a few other examples that I tested with Viggle here. So the first is this video of this guy dancing. It's an AI demo, right? We have to have someone dancing. And I wanted to replace him with this image of this woman. And the result is this. It's okay. It's not perfect. I mean, a lot of the movement is pretty interesting, but it has that distortion that is present in a lot of AI 3D models. We also have this video of this woman dancing here. You can see that it's kind of challenging because you can't really see a definitive outline of where her legs are. And I want to replace her with this person right here. And the result is this, and you can see that the person is just really warped and distorted, and it looks kind of strange. We also have this really interesting Michael Bay style orbiting shot, and I want to replace the woman in the shot with this guy here, and the result is this, which is really creepy. The guy looks really off. You can see that when it's a front view, it kind of becomes in focus and a lot sharper. But when it's the side view, whew, that is not looking great. And finally, we have this video footage of this guy just making a really creepy kiss to the camera. And I was curious, does this work with a 3D animated character? So I wanted to replace him with this character. And yeah, this is just straight up nightmare fuel. I think I'm going to see this character in my dreams tonight. We also announced this last week our big NAB party in Vegas. The party is going to be on April 15th at 8 p.m. There are only a few tickets left to enter the AI prompting tournament. The winner will, of course, win an Apple Vision Pro, but there are plenty of general admission tickets if you want to hang out and meet fellow AI filmmakers. We're talking with the venue to actually have AI-generated cocktails at the party, so it's going to be a fun time. And while we're talking about events, I should note that there is an unofficial Curious Refuge meetup happening in Brooklyn on April 2nd. If you're in the area and would like to meet fellow filmmakers, I definitely want to encourage you to make it out to that event. We actually have to keep increasing the capacity because so many people are going to be there. The team at Haiper just updated their AI video generator to create clips that are 4 seconds long. And again, this tool is completely free, and it's creating some of the most realistic AI videos that are available to everyone. Let me show you how to use it. All you have to do is go to the Haiper website and go ahead and sign in. Now, all you have to do is upload your image. I have this image of just this like futuristic rocket engine, and I'll just drag and drop it into our scene here. And you can prompt in and say what you want to see. We'll say rocket engines, and you can click on the settings here. By default, it's going to go to 2. Go ahead and click on 4 and click create. So I have an example from earlier. I'll go ahead and play this back. You can see that it looks pretty cool. Now, not loving the light leak that's kind of taking over the entire frame, but it does look pretty darn cool. And I actually took these video clips into Topaz Video and upscaled them into 4K and created a little montage video that you are watching right now. And I gotta say, some of the results that I'm seeing from Haiper look better than Runway and Pika Labs. So I definitely recommend testing out this tool for yourself. I think you'll find it to be helpful in your AI video pipelines. Adobe also came out with the ability for you to add in structure reference to images whenever you upload them to Adobe Firefly. It's just like using an image reference inside of Midjourney, but the results are actually really interesting inside of Firefly. Now, to use the tool, all you have to do is go to the Firefly website and click on the Get Adobe Firefly Free button, and you can click the Generate button here. Now, to use structure reference, basically you need to upload an image. I have this image of this adorable looking bird character, and we'll just drag and drop him into the upload settings here. And you can dial in the strength if you want it to be more or less like the underlying image. I want it to be more like the underlying image because I really want it to inherit the composition and style of the image that we uploaded. And we can also go in here and add in a style. So I actually want this to be in a watercolor style. So I have this watercolor image as a reference. So I'll just grab this image and drop it into our reference section. Great, and now we can prompt in a watercolor painting of a bird and go ahead and click Try Prompt. Okay, let's check out our results here. And I gotta say, they look pretty darn good. Adobe Firefly did an amazing job with the style reference, but I want to show you this in action over on Midjourney so we can compare and contrast. So to do the same thing on Midjourney, all you have to do is go over to the Midjourney website, and we will click this plus button here, and we will select our bird as our image reference, and we will select the watercolor painting of the boy as the style reference. Again, if you want to use a style reference, you have to click on the little paperclip icon. So now we have the bird as the image reference and the boy as the style reference. And I will say a watercolor painting of a bird. And you do have the ability to go in and adjust the weight. And I want to more accurately try to replicate what we got from Adobe Firefly. So I'm going to say --IW for image weight, and I'll say image weight of 2.5. It has a maximum image weight of 3, so 2.5 should be pretty darn close to the original composition. And we can also go in and add style weight. Style weight can be anywhere from 0 to 1000. I think for this one, I'm going to say a style weight of SW500. So the default is 100. So this is going to have much more stylization than what is normal inside of Midjourney. And we'll go ahead and click enter. Okay, let's take a look at our results here. So we have this image of the bird, this image, and this image. And I would say that these are much more like an oil painting than a watercolor painting. So it seems like in our initial test here, Adobe Firefly is actually doing a better job for style transfers. So if you need to change the style of one image to another style, Adobe Firefly might be a better tool to use. I should also note that enrollment for our AI filmmaking and AI advertising course is now open. This is going to be an incredible session. We have many new lessons heading your way, including how to do virtual photo shoots and how to do character replacements. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you're interested, you can click the link below this video to learn more. We also just interviewed Matan at Pika Labs over on the podcast, where he shared his experience with transitioning from being a literal rock star to becoming an AI filmmaker. It's a great conversation. I highly recommend checking it out. We also came across this interesting prompt breakdown from Nicolaus Neubert. He is one of our favorite AI art directors, and he was exploring this idea of basically a 1977 inspired DVD screenshot. And the photography looks really fantastic. It kind of has this dramatic, cinematic, shot on film vibe. You'll find a link to the prompt breakdown below this video. We love checking out awesome examples of prompts and experiments from around the industry. So if you ever work on a good experiment and are proud of the results, be sure to tag us online. That is at Curious Refuge on most social media platforms. The character replacement tool that we talked about earlier, Viggle, is available to all people through their Discord. But if you want to run a similar tool locally on your own machine, there's actually a new comfy UI node called Champ that basically allows you to do a very similar thing. There's some really interesting breakdowns of the tool in action, and if you want to download the code for yourself, you'll find a link below this video. There's also been a lot of AI misinformation recently that I think it's important to address. If you're coming across Twitter or LinkedIn and you see a shocking AI headline, chances are it's either not true or it's not telling the full story. We actually came across this post this last week that basically said a video is 100% AI, and in reality, it's actually like Heijin, where the lips are replaced. So I just want to throw that out there. If you're coming across news, definitely try to validate it, because there is a lot of misinformation about there, not only with people creating AI videos, but also people with sharing AI news. Some researchers at MIT came out with the ability to create high quality images 30 times faster using Stable Diffusion and DALL-E 3. Now, the reason why this is important, we already have the ability to create real-time images, but the quality of those real-time images is not amazing. But if you could have really high quality, real-time AI images generated, eventually you're looking at really high quality, real-time AI video, and that is going to open up an entirely new way of telling stories. We also came across a report this last week where they asked 70,000 large language model users to vote on their favorite large language model, and Claude 3 Opus actually has a slight advantage over ChatGPT 4. Now, does that mean that you should never use ChatGPT 4, or that you even need to cancel your subscription and move over to Claude 3? Not necessarily, but if you are a screenwriter and you need to take a full script and upload it to your language model so that you can ask it questions, Claude 3 Opus actually is the best tool that you can use at this point. But there have been many rumors about ChatGPT 5 coming in the very near future, so we wouldn't be surprised if we saw that tool very soon. Midjourney also announced this last week that they kind of hit a hiccup in their AI video exploration process. They said that they're not happy with the quality from Midjourney video, so there's actually a 50% chance that Midjourney 3D could come out before Midjourney video. You can find a link to the office hours recap below this video. We're obviously super interested to see examples of Midjourney video whenever it comes out, but with incredible Sora video releases, I'm sure Midjourney is having to pump the brakes and make sure that the quality is as good as possible. And that brings us to our AI films of the week. The first film that I want to shout out is a music video concept called Escape. The music video is really cool, and I really appreciate some of the particle simulations inside of the video. It really comes across as a high-end music video project, and I think they did a fantastic job with it. The next project that I want to highlight is called But a Dream by Dustin Hollywood. It has some really high-end visualizations, some of the best AI-generated videos that I've seen up to this point. There's great examples of smoke, water, and abstract simulations that are simulating classic VFX shots. It really is incredible, and I think he embodied this dreamlike aesthetic in a very convincing way. And finally, our most impressive film project of the week comes from Winston Mayo, who created a Prince of Egypt live action film. It's basically the Moses story, and there's a trailer that you can watch online. But what was so interesting is Winston Mayo actually spent 94 days creating a feature film of this project. The shots look really good. You can tell that he has a storytelling background, and he even gave us a shout out for helping him along his education journey in learning more about artificial intelligence. So fantastic work with your accomplishment. I can't believe you were able to put together an entire feature film in 94 days. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of AI Film News. Of course, if you want AI Film News sent directly to your inbox, you can subscribe over on Curious Refuge. You'll find a link below this video. Also, if you want to join us for our April session, absolutely no pressure, but we would love to have you inside of the program. We just received a few messages just this last week of even more students that have landed jobs from the training inside of our program. And of course, hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date on the latest AI film news. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.